Hi everyone, welcome to Growing Outside of the Box. I'm sitting here in front of my Harvest Right freeze dryer. I was very excited to get a freeze dryer. I had seen a bunch of YouTubers and other homesteaders having a really great time using their freeze dryer, preserving their produce, which is what I wanted it for, and all of those things were super exciting, and I finally decided to bite the bullet and to buy the freeze dryer. I knew it was going to take a couple months to get here because there had been high demand and all of the supply shortages and whatnot. So I was ready for that. I received the freeze dryer after ordering it in October of 2021. In December of 2021. The purpose of this video is to help you troubleshoot a little bit if you're having a problem with a vacuum error on the freeze dryer. So you've tried to run your bread and you're not able to get into that freeze drying cycle. If you want a little bit more understanding of the different cycles, the basics of running a freeze dryer, I have a video about that. I will link that below. That really helps to explain the basics to get you going. But if you're having a vacuum error, chances are you have an epoxy leak. There are a lot of errors that might come up. You might get an error 6 in the troubleshooting guide. You might get an error 7. I got an error 7. I needed a whole nother part, and then I needed to fix my epoxy leak. So those are things that might happen. Sometimes I think what happens is you'll run a test run for your pressure and it'll work great. And then you try to put your bread in and it won't work. That is still a sign that you probably have some sort of leak. And I would first, number one, check an epoxy leak. It's a pretty simple fix. I will link below the video from Harvest Right on fixing an epoxy leak, letting you know right now that it's outdated. You won't be using epoxy. In the video, it says that Harvest Right's gonna send you epoxy. They don't do that anymore. Just need to go to the store and buy 100% silicone. I bought this at the hardware store. It was like $6. You might be able to find it cheaper elsewhere. 100% silicone. You can use the directions on the video, but I will also show you some of the updates with the different software on how to make it work. You can see that there's an epoxy leak because the place where the leak is gathering ice, and that's how you know there's an epoxy leak. There might be ice collecting on the condenser. That's normal, but this area here is not normal. This means that there's leak. So if you have ice building up here, that's not normal, and that means that you probably have an epoxy leak. So you also want to make sure that all of your fittings, all of the hoses and fittings are tight, but not over tightened, because sometimes if you over tighten your hoses, you can strip them or break the O-ring inside and then have a leak there. Harvest Right has experienced a high demand of their product, and I think some of the machines are going out without maybe being fully tested, or the issues are not being detected when they're being sent out. I know a lot of people are really frustrated about this. It doesn't mean that Harvest Right is a bad company. I still think they're a good company. They've been pretty helpful in fixing the process, but I've had to be my own advocate. I've had to figure it out on my own. And I have a video on some of the basics of understanding how the machine works if you're there trying to figure it out on your own too. So I will also link that below. Please stick with it. I hope that helps. You will have fun once you get it going. All right, so here we are on the Harvest Right home screen. I wanted to update the epoxy leak video that Harvest Right has put out just a little bit. There's a few things that got a little confusing on the video because it's a little outdated. About a minute 29, he will start to press and push different things, and it's much simpler on the new software. So I have version 5.1.16, and it's pretty straightforward and simple. So all you need to do is from the start screen, just go ahead and push the leaf in the corner, and then you will just turn the vacuum on. So you'll just click it and just wait a second and it'll go ahead and turn on. And that is what you do in order to check to see if you have an epoxy leak. Takes a second, it's thinking, and there it goes. I hope that helps. Have a great day.